Cardinals go on to lose to the San Francisco 49ers. Long day there in Glendale. Joining us now on the Right Toyota guest lines, our good friend John Skelton, former Cardinal quarterback, who joins us here from the casino. How you doing there, John? What's going on?
I'm doing good, fellas. I was able to be at that game last night. The Cardinals hung around for a while, but the Niners do what they usually do.
Yeah, they're playing pretty good right now. Yeah, absolutely. Well, with that being said, we have it's an it's your call question, a poll question that we put up on our Twitter page, and I'd like to start with that, if you don't mind. If you had a vote for the MVP, who would it be? Your choices are Brock Purdy, Lamar Jackson, Christian McCaffrey, or someone else. Other of those three or possibly four, who would you pick?
So I am going to defer to what Mr. Brock Purdy said, and he says that CMC deserves it. So I'm going to go with Christian McCaffrey as well. I do think it's probably 1-2 or 1A, 1B between those two and how well they're playing it as a unit. But you guys know as well as I do that the MVP of any team is usually on the best team or one of the best teams that's surrounded by a bunch of other guys that are deserving. So if I had to answer one of those, I'd go with Christian McCaffrey.
All right, we'll put you down. All right, we want to get your thoughts on Kyler Murray. He's played in just a few games this year. I think a lot of fans would like to have seen a lot more out of him. Where do you think he is in his return to where he was at the top of his game? How much is he getting any closer, or is this who we're going to see in the future?
I always tell my buddies or, people that ask me how many games did you play or how long were you in the league, I was, I had a few good games, but over the course of a season, I ended up starting 16 games. I went 8-8 as a starter. It was like you kind of, after 8 games, half a season, a full season, you are who you are. If you're not improving year over year, which we really haven't seen Murray improve, especially since his rookie year when he did such a fine job. I don't know if he's regressed, but he's kind of shown us who he is now, and that's really, I think, what Cardinals fans have to expect moving forward.
And I think more than anything, John, when you watch him, and I was there yesterday as well too, and watched him from almost that field level. I'm not seeing the growth. Now, physically, yeah, he can throw the hell out of the ball and he can move and all that. I don't know, this kind of the helter-skelter feel you get with the only way the Cardinals win. And you watch some of the other teams with Brock and some of the other guys come in and just as pocket presence, roll out. They don't have to do all the, I call it shenanigans or gimmicks to win football games. And I think with him, that's the only way they win games is with that kind of a frenetic feeling with him at quarterback. Am I wrong, or you get the same feeling?
No, I think you're exactly right. I think when your offense is based around Murray go make a play, whether that's, chucking the ball to Hollywood Brown on a go route, basically have a 50-50 ball, or that's, hey, freestyle in the pocket, it's feast or famine when that happens. And really, I think even since his rookie year, when he did have a good season, that's really all we've seen. We haven't seen the development like we did with Lamar Jackson, who is a hell of an athlete out there playing quarterback, but who's developed to a smarter quarterback, a guy who understands situations better, a guy who knows when to use his feet and when to throw or when to check down. And we just really haven't seen that evolution in Murray, I don't think.
The other thing, too, is watching from the field level the reads or lack thereof. And I know you got a couple pretty good tight ends, but, John, 15 of your completions out of 26 are to the tight ends. So I watched, and I saw him come off of reads in order to go to McBride or Swim. I'm like, Kyler, you got guys down the field. Now, whether you trust them or not, it's a whole nother show. But, I mean, as far as development, you got to take those, read the entire field, and not feel so comfortable and be safe. Maybe just being safe for his job next year. I don't know. That's what kind of nerved me is like, you got guys, get it to them.
Yeah. Yeah, I was in the red zone for the game there, so I was right behind the end zone there, and one of the drives when we backed up, they came out with a quick play action, and you see his eyes pop up for that first read, which I believe was Trey McBride on a down block, and then he kind of snuck out into the flat. He wasn't there, the corner stayed in the flat, and he kind of just turned, and he turned basically just to turn. I couldn't tell if he was looking for a read or if he was looking at the blitz or what it was, but he went from, okay, the flat's taken away to I'm just going to look the other way and see what happens. And then it became scramble mode. Then it became, I'm just going to try to make a play, and ended up getting sacked on that play.
John, are you telling all of our listeners right now then that when this season is over, depending on where the Cardinals draft, if they do not have the number one pick, they attempt to move up to take Caleb Williams?
That's I am no GM. I don't have a GM hat on right now, and as far as I know, and this is just speaking from experience, whenever and Cardinals fans know this all too well, whenever a new coaching staff, a new GM, a new regime comes in, they want their own guys in, right? And for Austin Ford, right now, he didn't draft Murray; he inherited Murray. It'd be a lot easier for a guy like that who's already seen, 3 years, 4 years of Murray to say, hey, we're moving on. It's not like he inherited him in year 1 or year 2. We've seen enough of a resume. So I think it would be easy for Cardinals fans to, I think a lot of them have already moved on, but I think it'd be easier for the rest of them to move on and say, let's see what Caleb Williams can do moving in.
Would there be teams banging on the door to get Kyler Murray? And if so, what teams in your estimation, and what do you think they could get for him?
Yeah, I was just having this conversation with a friend of mine, and a team like Atlanta comes to mind really quick, where they've had some, Ritter's done okay, they kind of move on, but they got the carousel going on over there. And you got Bijan Robinson, who's been doing a great job. He's, I would argue for Rookie of the Year, on Offensive Rookie of the Year for him. And if you can get Murray and give him the same backfield, maybe Murray does become more of a pocket passer or something where they're using Bijan Robinson the way that San Francisco uses McCaffrey in every which way, get him the ball, because we still have a threat at quarterback, or, we have a receiver on the outside that can stretch the field. So I think a landing spot like that where they can just, let him be the run around, make play guys that he is because that's really what the Falcons offense is based around right now.
Do you see this team turning it around? We were making a case, not necessarily a case, but you look at what Wilkes did in 2018. They had 3 wins. They could end this season with 3 wins. We know they're not going to make a coaching change. We think there's some change there. But what is it going to take for this team to at least be 500 or somewhat more competitive in some games?
2 minutes.
I'll say this. I think I mentioned it on air towards the beginning of the season, is like the Cardinals, I said this earlier, the Cardinals probably aren't going to win a lot of games, but what I would like to see is them be competitive, especially towards the end of the year.
Okay.
Because we all know last year they had Murray's injury. Everyone kind of packed it in for the last quarter of the year, basically, and guys were ready to go home into the offseason. I think as long as we see guys competing, guys wanting to be there, guys at least putting full effort out in these next 3 games, it'll be something to build on, something to go into the offseason. Now you have a coaching staff that's got their feet wet. They're going to bring in more of their own guys. I think that would be a positive note. If we can maybe get maybe 1 at home and 1 on the road, and we play the Seahawks at home, but they'll probably be playing for a playoff position. So I think if we can get maybe 2 of these next 3, then we'd be in good shape.
John, I think if there's one area that seeks improvement, even though the 49ers had 3 defensive guys out, was the running game, was James Connors, and he's got one more year left on his contract. Boy, you'd like to keep him healthy and just expand on this running game next year to go with this passing game, whomever is at quarterback.
Yeah, I think that's an absolute great idea. I've always come from the state of mind where you got to establish the run or establish the ability to run in order to set up the pass. And if you got a quarterback, whoever it is, then it's probably going to be a rookie, maybe a younger guy, or if Murray's still around, you got to put him in position to be successful. So I think keeping Connor healthy, McBride's done a great job kind of establishing himself as a solid option at receiver. He can block pretty well too. I think keeping those guys healthy, maybe bringing in a couple more weapons along with the quarterback, if that's the direction they go, then the Cardinals can at least make some noise in the NFC West next year.
John, thanks for jumping on with us, man. We appreciate it. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas.
Happy holidays, guys. My son's home from school. He's listening on the radio right now, so I just wanted to say hi to Jonah.
Your dad's awesome. John Skelton joining us here on Rock and Manooch with Jimmy B. Fox Sports 910. Good to catch up with him. He's brought to you today by All City Towing. You looking for a new career in 2024? All City Towing continues to grow, and they need to add to their team. So go to allcitytowing.com, search careers. That's All City Towing, statewide service. They answer your call 24/7. Allcitytowing.com. Well, how about RSVPing? No.